is sponsored by Paul Cerami Auto Group, the cheaper dealer.
3, 2, 1.
Sorry. How you doing, buddy?
I'm good.
Yeah. What do you got here? A Ford Fusion 2016 SE. Looking sharp, as always, in a Paul Cerami.
Sometimes you got to trade in the old. You got to get the new. Got a sync and sound package on this bad boy. One of the best things about Paul Cerami, you get lifetime maintenance.
Lifetime maintenance! Yes!
On new and pre-owned vehicles.
Yeah, and you know, this is what I heard. You can purchase this thing as low as $21,888, a Ford Fusion SE 2016. So you made a trade to get this thing, huh? You know, the Cardinals are looking to make some trades.
Yeah, they got the trade deadline coming up. It's August 1st.
Yeah.
And people are kind of wondering, okay, this team is still trailing the Cubs by quite a bit, but still in the hunt for that second wild card spot. Do they need to do something to shake it up to help their chances of making the postseason, or is this a team that has enough parts to get where it wants to go? I think we both probably agree that they got to do something to help the bullpen out.
There's no question about it, Ben. And if you're John Mozeliak, if you're his staff, Gersh, the guys, you're looking at every relief pitching option in baseball right now. But then the question is, realistically, who can you get and what do you have to give up for this guy? You look at Chapman, for instance. We know him from the National League when he was throwing 100 miles per hour for Cincinnati.
105 miles per hour the other day.
I saw that. I didn't think that was physically possible for a human being to throw a baseball that fast. All right, here's a guy whose contract, I believe, is up at the end of the year. So you're basically renting him.
Yep.
And the Cardinals have had success in the last generation or so of bringing guys in whose contracts are expiring, and the guy falls in love with St. Louis and re-signs, most famously, the current left fielder, Matt Holliday, sometimes first baseman Matt Holliday. But do you want to risk a prospect for Chapman? I don't know. Do you even want to bring Chapman and his past problems off the field to beloved Busch Stadium? I don't know. So maybe you look at an Andrew Miller from the New York Yankees. He's a guy who has a contract for a couple of years. But again, what do you give up? I mean, there's a lot of young players in the Cardinals, but are you, general manager Benjamin Frederickson, willing to give up somebody?
Yeah, I am. And basically my trade philosophy would be everyone is on the table but Alex Reyes.
Okay.
And this is what is going to kind of give us an answer about how the Cardinals see themselves. The Cardinals will tell you that they are a team that still thinks it can catch the Cubs. They're a team that still has every intention of competing for the World Series. But unless a move is made to try to make this team better than the team it is right now, then how can it really believe that? It's kind of one of those situations that we talk about a lot with the Cardinals is look at what they do, not what they say.
Yeah.
So if they still think that they can be a contender, if they still think they have a chance, then you want to see them make a move to put themselves in a better position. Mozeliak has a history of trying to improve the bullpen before the deadline. He's been candid about wanting to do that again this year, but you're right. What is the cost?
Right.
And I don't think you're going to touch Alex Reyes. I think the Cardinals can believe that he can be a true star, true starter in the major leagues, and I think he could help this bullpen, and that's something to keep in mind too. But I think this might be more than Reyes. You promote Alex Reyes from Memphis, and you're still going to battle some of those control issues that he's had. Maybe he can be a dominant force out of the bullpen for an inning or two as he continues to work on some of that control, but you still might need some more arms just based on some of the issues you've had there with Trevor Rosenthal. You've had O look a little bit more human since he's moved into that closer role. Jonathan Broxton has been up and down lately. So you want to solidify.
They've all been down lately.
You want to solidify that bad. And yeah, well, it's a problem when Matt Bowman, and no offense to Matt Bowman, he's been good this year. A Rule 5 draft pick is one of your most solid guys. Right. In the bullpen, that's an issue. That's not a contending team right there. There's a lot of teams right now that are going to be looking to sell. Right. A lot of those teams are going to want young players. I mean, the Yankees are in a situation, you mentioned the Yankees, they're in a situation where they're actually looking to be sellers and get long-term talent for the future. That's a position they're not usually in. Right. Some fans who've given up on the Cardinals this season are saying the Cardinals should be in that position. No. The Cardinals are saying, look, we're going to be in the middle of this. So let's see what they do to improve themselves. There's another question here. And we spent a lot of earlier in the season talking about should the Cardinals go look for a center fielder.
Oh, sure.
The production wasn't there out of the position. Randall Grichuk had been up and down to the point they had to send him to Memphis.
Yeah.
And get him a kind of a rent cycle there. He's been better since he's been back. So maybe center field is not as big of a weakness as they thought it once was. But with Johnny Peralta back on the DL, Matt Carpenter's oblique, you got Colton Wong playing at second where he's been up and down. If first base has been a juggle, and now Brandon Moss is to the point where he's trying to come off the DL. Do they need to do something defense-related infield-wise at the trade deadline to help a defense that now looks completely different than the way it started this season?
It's a fair question to ask. I mean, you look at a guy like Greg Garcia, who really has played well and shows versatility there. You wonder if you give him some extra time to play, a few weeks here, can he truly rise up, as they say, and play an important role in this team? But man, is that the guy you gamble on? Again, it comes back to, if you're going to make a trade, though, who or what do you have to give up in order to quick fix a team that, when healthy, is probably a playoff team? But then it goes back to your question, is being an air quotes playoff team good enough, or is it World Series win or bust?
Yeah, and do you take maybe one of these guys on the team that has versatility in the infield and send them off in hopes to get a guy who's a more solid defensive player?
Yeah.
The Cardinals have versatility. They have guys who can play different positions. So if there's somebody out there they have an eye on, then maybe it's worth shaking up the clubhouse a little bit. We've seen that work in years past.
Yeah.
We've talked at length about the Cardinals' lengthy spring training discussions about clubhouse chemistry, and to this point in the season, I don't know that that's all been ironed out. Probably for the fact that they're not winning as much as they'd like, more than anything.
Yeah.
But you've seen teams in the past. Look at last season. You bring John Lackey in, and he's a guy who's not necessarily a cuddly figure, and look at what he was able to do.
Yeah.
And they took off with him, and sometimes you need to change the dynamic, and that's another thing the Cardinals have to consider here before August 1st.
Yeah. Well, hopefully for the fans, they'll be looking to make a trade just like you did for this Paul Cerami automobile.
Paul Cerami Auto Group, the cheaper dealer. Now exclusively offering lifetime maintenance with every new and pre-owned purchase.